Welcome to the second TRIBEspace workout. It's glute and legs day. Let's start off laying on our backs on the floor for some hip raises. Placing your feet within arm's distance, lift those hips off the floor. Squeezing the buns, pressing in with those heels, exhaling every time as you lift your hips up. Try to think about your butt. Squeezing upwards every single time, never quite resting at the bottom. I make it look easy, I know, but once you get to about the third exercise, you'll see how hard this actually becomes. 10-second rest in between our 30-second intervals. This time we lift the right leg up and same movement, pressing up with the hips. Try to keep the hips level throughout this movement, focusing solely on the glute of that left leg. Again, press in with the heel. Our third exercise, we switch to the other leg. So again, reposition if you need to. This time lifting the left leg up off the ground. Keeping the core tight, lower back and abs as you work your hips. Fourth exercise, we're just going to widen our stance a little bit. Widen your feet, widen your knees. And lifting to the sky. You'll be able to lift your hips a little bit higher with this widened leg position. Take advantage of that and squeeze extra hard at the top of the motion. Again, as a reminder, keep those heels firmly planted into the ground. That's where you get the drive to raise the glutes and the hips up. We're going to keep working that same side of our body, the back side. We go into a forearm plank, raising up the left leg, keeping the leg extended so it's straight. You squeeze the glute and hamstring, raising up straight to the sky while keeping the hips level. This is not only a glute exercise, but also core, so keep the midsection engaged, pulling in with the belly button towards the back. I stretch through child's pose in between in my 10-second break. I advise you to do the same. You'll feel the difference between your glutes. One will be tight, the other loose, but we go on to that second side, right side. Same exercise, keep those hips nice and level. Foot is slightly flexed, so you're pulling up with the heel and the butt. Best to keep the spine and the neck in a fairly neutral alignment. We're going to flip back over and isolate those glutes again. This time I take a weight and I lay it across my hips for that hip bridge. You can either lay the weight across your hips or you can place it butt end towards the ground in your crotch area and squeeze it with your inner thighs for a little bit of an inner thigh workout as well. Figure out which position works best for you or try both. Here I'm trying the second version. 10 10 seconds isn't a long time, not much rest here. Place the weight on your hip, raising up, back up into that bridge. We're gonna lift the right leg again and squeezing upwards. Keep that weight nice and stable. Now you can have the weight placed either on the right leg or on the left hip, whichever suits you. For my 30-second set, I switch from one side to the other halfway. Short 10-second rest, and I'm moving to the other side. Left leg comes up into the air, and squeeze. This time I take my feet into a frog type position, opening up the knees, keeping the inner thighs relaxed. So it's a frog position bridge. Weight again is on the hips and squeeze upwards. This really isolates your medial glute. Again, don't forget exhaling every time as you squeeze upwards, keeping the core, the midsection tight, as well as the bum. Flipping over again, we get back into that forearm plank position. This time, however, we're going to walk our legs, alternating from one side to the next. Never holding your breath during these exercises. We're trying to work our cardiovascular system as well as muscularly. Come on up. You've got 10 seconds to get up there and grab your weights. We're going to work on a deadlift and squat combination. So I deadlift first and then squat right down to the ground. Deadlift and squat, going as deep as you can. Get the stretch in the back of your legs during the deadlift and drop your bum as low to the ground as possible on your squat. Although you're going low with both the squat and the deadlift, you want to think about keeping your chest always pointed forward. That will keep your back nice and straight and keep you in proper alignment. We're going to go into our little lunge series here, starting with a forward alternating lunge. I try and make the transition as quick as possible from one leg to the next, so that there's always weight and tension on the legs. As you step forward, place all the weight into your forward heel and allow yourself to drop down, stretching the glute. That forward heel you then use to squeeze and push backwards to the standing position. I add in some cardiovascular intervals, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going into an in and out jump squat. Fairly self-explanatory. Keep the knees always behind the toes and the bum nice and low. You never need to come to a full standing position. This is probably the hardest of our little cardiovascular intervals, so I stuck it right at the beginning for you. We're back to our first exercise, the deadlift and squats. As you release down into your deadlift, feel a stretch in the back of your legs and squeeze the glutes to raise yourself back up. In your squat, dropping down low, press through the heels and use your bum to drive you and those weights upward. Short 10-second rest, and we go back to a cardiovascular interval. This is a straight jump squat. You can use those arms to help you get some height. I always do. If you're not a jumper, I would suggest just doing a very fast, unweighted squat as a replacement exercise. If you get so tired you can't do it, that's also another option. We grab those weights again, and we are back to our lunge series. This time we're lunging backwards. I'm holding the weights down by my side, but another option is also to hold them up and rest them on your shoulders if that's more comfortable for you. We're heading back to our deadlift and squat interval. This is the last of these, so make it count. Get a nice stretch in the back of the legs, dropping down as low as you can into that squat, really driving upwards using the power that your legs have to offer. This time our lunge series is going to be a split squat, which is a stationary lunge. Place one leg in front and you're going just straight up and down. This really isolates the muscles in the front leg. There's no momentum that's used here. Firm up that heel of the forward facing leg and drive upwards through that heel to squeeze the glute for power. At the same time, you want to think about keeping the upper body nice and solid, not rounding too far forward in the shoulders. And it's time for the other side. As you can see, when I start to laugh, that means it's getting tiring for me too. Just one more leg to go though, that's the good news. Really press up with that heel, exhaling every time as you push up and drive up through that heel. The leg gets nice and tired, but it feels fantastic. It'll feel even better the next day. We build upon those exercises now with our split jump. So this is part of the lunge series and also part of the cardiovascular series. We started in a lunge and we switch the legs. Alternating, you can use those arms to get yourself a little bit of momentum to help you get some height here. Find a point of reference to look at on the floor to help you keep your balance. Or keep your gaze slightly in front of you, but always focusing on one spot, and that will help keep you stable. As well, tighten up the core muscles, use your breath, exhaling every time you drive upwards into that jump. 10 seconds won't feel like very much right here. We're headed into chair pose. Sitting nice and low into that chair. Keep the arms right beside the ears. It's an isometric squat here. Then take a deep breath and lower into that squat a few inches. We're going to do that one more time. Breathing. Keep your body solid, squeezing those legs. And last time, drop down low. We're almost there. Let's head to the ground for a stretch of each of those glutes. Very important after these exercises to keep the hips nice and loose. We're going into pigeon pose. You're going to get 30 seconds to hold each of those stretches. You can feel free to hold even longer if you have the time. At this point in the workout, you don't have to listen to that timer. Do what your body tells you. Breathing nice and deep. Let's get the oxygen into those muscles. From this position, we're going to go back up to downward dog. We raise the other leg up and head back into our pigeon. If being upright is as far as you can go and have this be comfortable, that's perfectly okay. You want to not stress out the muscle here, but cause it to relax. That's the purpose of this stretch at the end of the workout. And all you've got to do all you've got to think about while you do this stretch is that you made it. You made it through TRIBEspace workout number 2, glutes and legs. Congratulations. And I will see you for the next workout.